The afternoon sun burned brightly over the quiet country highway as dusty wind rolled across endless fields of golden wheat. Every passing car seemed to be in a hurry, except an old blue pickup truck that suddenly pulled onto the shoulder after flashing police lights appeared in the rearview mirror. Inside sat a tired single father named Adrian Mercer, his 7-year-old daughter Mila asleep against the window with a teddy bear in her arms. Adrian's hands trembled slightly as he searched for his license, knowing another traffic ticket was the last thing he could afford. Since losing his wife 2 years earlier to cancer, every dollar had become precious. Bills, rent, groceries, school supplies, and endless overtime had drained everything from him except the determination to give his little girl a happy life. He had no idea that this ordinary traffic stop would become the moment that changed both of their lives forever. Before we continue, if you believe kindness, second chances, and unexpected miracles still exist in this world, please like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone you love, and subscribe to the channel Kindness Legacy. Your support helps us continue bringing emotional stories that remind us all humanity is still alive. Officer Naomi Brooks stepped out of her patrol car with calm confidence. She had worked the highway for nearly 8 years and had seen every excuse imaginable. Adrian apologized immediately, explaining that he had not noticed the speed limit dropping while he was trying to keep his sleepy daughter comfortable during the drive home from her medical appointment. Naomi listened quietly while checking his documents. Everything about Adrian seemed different from the drivers she usually stopped. His truck was spotless despite its age. His clothes were worn but clean, and every few seconds he glanced toward his daughter with quiet concern instead of worrying about the ticket. As Naomi returned with the citation book, she noticed something that made her pause. A simple silver wedding band still rested on Adrian's finger. Curious, she casually mentioned that if he wasn't married, she might have added her phone number instead of another expensive ticket, because honest fathers like him were becoming rare. Adrian smiled sadly before looking down at the ring. He gently explained that he still wore it because love did not disappear when someone passed away. His wife had been gone for over 2 years, but removing the ring felt like letting go of the promises they had made together. The words were soft, but the pain behind them was impossible to hide. For the first time in a long while, Naomi found herself unable to continue writing. She noticed faded hospital bracelets tucked inside Adrian's wallet, family photographs with a smiling woman, and a handwritten note from his daughter that simply read, "Daddy, you're my hero." Suddenly, the speeding ticket no longer seemed like the most important thing happening that afternoon. Instead of finishing the citation immediately, Naomi asked a few gentle questions about Mila's appointment. Adrian explained that his daughter had been struggling emotionally since losing her mother. She had developed anxiety that made sleeping difficult, and today's visit with a child therapist had been their first sign of hope. Adrian admitted he had accidentally driven faster than he should have because he wanted to get home before Mila woke up frightened in unfamiliar surroundings. Naomi quietly tore the unfinished ticket in half. She issued only a written warning and wished them a safe journey. Adrian thanked her with genuine gratitude, believing their paths would never cross again. Life, however, had completely different plans. A week later, Adrian was working overtime delivering building materials to a local community center. While unloading supplies, he noticed Officer Naomi volunteering during her day off, helping children paint playground equipment. There was no police uniform this time, only old jeans covered in colorful paint, and a warm smile that immediately made the children trust her. Mila recognized Naomi instantly and ran over to thank her for being kind to her father. Naomi spent the afternoon helping Mila paint bright butterflies across a wooden fence, while Adrian quietly repaired broken picnic tables nearby. Watching his daughter laugh without fear for the first time in months filled his heart with emotions he had almost forgotten. Over the following weeks, their lives crossed again and again. Sometimes at community charity events, sometimes at school fundraisers, and sometimes simply by coincidence at the neighborhood grocery store. There were never dramatic moments or fairy tale declarations. Instead, there were small acts of kindness. Naomi brought extra homemade cookies knowing Mila loved chocolate chips. Adrian quietly repaired Naomi's aging fence after a storm without asking for payment. Their friendship grew naturally, built not on romance but on mutual respect. Still, Adrian carried invisible guilt. He believed allowing himself to feel happiness again somehow betrayed the memory of his late wife. Every evening he would sit on his porch after Mila fell asleep, staring at the stars, and wondering whether moving forward meant leaving the past behind. One afternoon, everything changed. Mila collapsed during recess after experiencing a severe panic attack triggered by another student mentioning mothers during a classroom activity. Adrian rushed from work in terror, convinced something terrible had happened. Naomi happened to be nearby directing traffic outside the school and immediately helped clear the road so Adrian could reach the hospital faster. Doctors assured him Mila was physically healthy, but emotionally she needed stability, reassurance, and hope. That evening, Naomi visited only to drop off coloring books and quietly leave. She never tried to replace Mila's mother or force herself into their lives. She simply reminded Adrian that healing did not happen overnight. Months passed. Winter became spring, and spring slowly transformed into another warm summer. Adrian continued working tirelessly, while Naomi remained a steady friend through every challenge. She attended Mila's school talent show when Adrian was delayed by work. Adrian fixed Naomi's patrol bicycle after someone vandalized it. They slowly became each other's source of strength without even realizing it. One Saturday morning, the community organized a charity picnic for families affected by loss. Hundreds gathered under bright blue skies, sharing food, stories, and laughter. During the event, Mila walked onto the small stage holding a drawing she had made. It showed 3 people holding hands beneath a shining sun. When asked to explain the picture, Mila smiled through watery eyes and said that one person was her mommy watching from heaven, one was her daddy, and one was Officer Naomi because heroes sometimes wore blue uniforms and sometimes simply stayed beside people when they needed a friend. The audience fell silent. Many wiped tears from their eyes. Naomi herself struggled to hold back emotion. Adrian finally realized something profound. Loving again did not erase the love he had shared with his wife. The heart was capable of carrying cherished memories while still making room for new hope. That evening, Adrian visited his wife's favorite hill overlooking the town. As sunset painted the sky with shades of gold and crimson, he quietly thanked her for every beautiful memory they had shared. He admitted he was tired of carrying grief alone and promised that no matter what happened, Mila would always know how deeply her mother had loved her. For the first time in years, he slipped the wedding ring onto a chain around his neck instead of wearing it on his finger. It was not goodbye, it was gratitude. Several months later, Adrian organized a community appreciation event honoring local first responders. During his speech, he shared the story of an ordinary traffic stop that had become an extraordinary reminder that compassion could change lives more powerfully than punishment ever could. Naomi stood quietly among the crowd, overwhelmed. After the ceremony ended, Adrian finally found the courage to ask if she would join him and Mila for dinner, not as a police officer helping a struggling family, but as someone who had already become part of their lives. Her answer arrived through the brightest smile he had seen since losing his wife. The years that followed were filled with ordinary moments that became extraordinary memories. School graduations, family road trips, birthday cakes, backyard barbecues, and countless evenings spent laughing around the dinner table slowly replaced the silence that once filled Adrian's home. Pain never completely disappeared, but it no longer controlled their future. Mila eventually grew into a confident young woman inspired by Naomi's kindness and chose to study psychology so she could help children facing grief just as she once had. Adrian often reflected on how easily that first meeting could have ended differently. One expensive speeding ticket, one impatient officer, one angry reaction, and none of their futures would have unfolded the same way. Instead, one moment of understanding changed everything. Sometimes miracles don't arrive with flashing lights or dramatic rescues. Sometimes they begin with a warning instead of a ticket, a compassionate heart instead of judgment, and the courage to see another person's invisible struggles. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like, share, comment, and subscribe to Kindness Legacy. Your support allows these inspiring stories of hope and kindness to reach people who may need them the most. Special request: before this story ends, please comment, "Kindness always wins," if you believe one small act of compassion can completely change someone's life. As the golden afternoon sun disappeared behind the peaceful countryside, Adrian, Mila, and Naomi walked together toward their truck, smiling beneath the endless blue sky. The road ahead was still uncertain, but it was no longer lonely. And sometimes that is the greatest gift life can offer, a second chance that arrives when you least expect it, reminding us that even after the darkest storms, love always finds its way back home.